For my Management 7135 final, I want to talk about three maxims that were most powerful for me throughout the semester. And the first one from Personal Leadership Maxim is one I call Meet Eden. And this maxim it's powerful because it hits on a bunch of different points. The first of which has to do with why we wake up every day. That was in one of the modules. One of the big questions from one piece of paper is, why do we wake up every day? And me and, some other people in my group struggle, sort of with that question and what it meant. And, some of us have gone through some trials and tribulations at work, and, some days it's a struggle to, go to work and try to have fun and try to, achieve the goals that we set out for. And through this maxim, Meet Eden, Eden was a girl that is near my daughter's age, and it was when I signed up for the St. Jude Marathon. You get these emails and tells the stories of the kids, and Eden was one of the ones that was sort of assigned to me, and I kept track of, and it tells her story about how she fought off the cancer, and now she's in remission, and every day she was, throughout the treatment, she was happy, and she rode her tricycle and cared for her baby dolls and was asking about her sisters, and, it really put things in perspective. Not only, the everyday trials we go through sort of being trivial, but really to have goals and try to achieve those goals, and that the reason we sort of struggle to get out of bed every day, and if we're having those problems, is we're not really living within our purpose. And on top of that, we're not, working towards things. And so the maxim is really about trying to achieve that goal of finding your purpose and working towards those goals, and not getting bogged down in the minutia, and realizing that it is just minutia. And so working towards those and working towards our purpose, and making that why we get out of bed every day. The second maxim was about team leadership, and for me this one was most powerful for me because as a cyclist, Lance Armstrong was a point of controversy for us, and people had different opinions, and so my maxim is don't be Lance. And what it had to do with is, if you do wrong, or if you mess up, it's about owning up to it. It's about integrity. It's about showing that people do make mistakes, and it's about showing you're vulnerable, and showing that to your team. And one of my classmates talked about during one of the discussion boards about having a ex-teammate, and this person was arrogant, and just how terrible they were to work with, and all this stuff, and they were so glad when they left. And those are some of the same stories you heard about Lance Armstrong's teammates, and why he was a bad leader, and he had no integrity. And so don't be Lance is about admitting your mistakes and keeping integrity, and people respect integrity. And so that really reminds me of, if you do make a mistake, just don't keep digging that hole deeper. Come out, face it, deal with it, don't ruin the reputation of you and your team and everyone else, forever. The last maxim is about, and one more thing about, is about is one I call Burger King of fancy titles. And this one is, you see it in the Tom Peters Strategy Diversity Wins video about how diversity is, helps with problem solving, and not to the extent of his view that you can drag a group of people off the street and they're more effective at solving a problem than a group of experts. But the Burger King of fancy titles maxim comes from a coworker and I were talking about Burger King just came up with a fancy position called the Director of Diversity and Inclusion, and we were saying that, what does that really mean, and we sort of laughed about the fancy title and how HR positions have evolved from personnel to all of a sudden there's a diversity and inclusion director. And it wasn't long after that Burger King was in some trouble for, some diversity issues and not promoting people because of, race and gender and some other things. And it just came down to, it was a bunch of lip service. And during some of my discussion boards, we talked about, that somebody on there talked about the EQ culture at their organization, and that they saw their managers as just metrics and numbers, and instead of field leaders, and they didn't get feedback from them. And so when you see stuff like that, that organization is really missing out on the diversity of their people. And diversity is more than just race or gender or whatever. It's about getting the feedback from everybody at that organization, and that's sort of an issue that a lot of companies struggle with. And you sort of see that in the McKinsey Global Survey, the moving mindsets on gender diversity, how, these female executives are ambitious and they share their own abilities, become managers, but the problem is they're not confident that organizational cultures will support them, and help them move and achieve those goals. So as HR leaders and business leaders, that's something that we need to work to change that culture and, make diversity something more than lip service, and, really show the benefits of it and, make it something that's important. So that's what the Burger King of fancy titles mean. The maxim is to remind me that diversity is more than just lip service, that, it can really have an impact on an organization, and, keep that and, work towards that.